Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Blue Ridge Collectibles. I'm your host, Sean, in this video. And today we're going to go ahead and deep dive into the market report for the week. One of the big cards, as you guys know, just because of the celebrity, ramp up in just the overall knowledge of Pokemon cards in general, especially a lot of the older, much older, like First Edition and Team Rocket and Aquapolis and a bunch of the other Pokemon sets from the first 5, 6, 7 years have been garnering a lot of attention. Okay, we got guys like Logan Paul coming onto the scene, buying up original sealed booster boxes of First Edition Pokemon. As you guys know, the boxes are not cheap. They're worth tens of thousands of dollars, and with just all of the awareness surrounding the vintage Pokemon, which, believe it or not, they've only been around for 21 years, since '99. So it's not something that's super old, but people are embracing them as collectibles. Okay, you had the people that were kids at one time in the late '90s that were buying these Pokemon cards. They were playing with them, and maybe they still have them, maybe they don't. Okay, and then these same kids are now in their 20s, and a lot of our current generation, Generation Z people and collectors have a lot of money. Okay, they're building their empire via social media. So now they're turning around and they're finding investable things to jump into. So one of the, marquee cards in Pokemon is the first edition Charizard. Some would say the shadowless version is the one to get if you want to be known as the guy that has one of the shadowless Pokemon Charizards first editions. That's the one to get. Which would therefore cement, I guess, your status symbol. And of course, a lot of folks are getting these things graded through PSA, through BGS. All right, so now we've come to the point where these Charizards are so far out of reach for any normal collector and investor that a lot of people are looking for the second tier or the second option of that type of card. And you could pick a few cards from any one of those expansion sets in the first 6, 7 years of Pokemon, but we have a card that came out in 2019 that all of a sudden has bursted onto the scene with a lot of popularity. This is the card that we're going to talk about today. I actually have one right here. No, your eyes are not fooling you. This is not a first edition Charizard that you see here. As a matter of fact, what this is a Evolutions XY Charizard. Okay, this is a 20-year anniversary, not reprint, but just kind of like paying homage to the card that I guess started it all. All right, so Charizard is one of the most popular characters in the brand, and then you have others like Pikachu and Poliwhirl and everybody else. But this one right here, this is the card that now all of a sudden we're seeing some huge price spikes. We're going to go and take a look at eBay through the last 90 days of sales of this card right here, just to show you that I'm not making things up. Okay, Evolutions XY was an overprinted set. Some would even say that people were snickering every time someone mentioned Evolutions XY because generally that was the set that you found at all the local card shops or comic shops. This was the set that you would find at all of the Target and Walmart stores, and they would be bundled in the pin sets and all that great stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what people are going for today. And I checked out prices of this card yesterday, and I was more than a little shocked. I'll be absolutely honest, how much this card sells for on the secondary market today. This was a card. Now keep in mind, about pre-pandemic era, so like, you know, earlier in the year, January, February, March, this is a card that you could obtain for between $25 and $40 raw in near mint to mint condition. Okay, near mint condition simply means that it's straight out of the pack, ready to play. All right, so yeah, it was a really inexpensive card, and because of its relative tie-in to the first edition Charizard, that nobody can obtain for any reasonable amount of money, because you have a lot of the investors and celebrities and sports stars, um, among a few other different types of people, that are picking these cards up, okay, not only to invest in, but because of the tie-in to their childhood. And now all of a sudden the market is drying up of first edition Charizard. So they're gravitating towards the Evolutions XY. So we're going to go ahead and minimize this. And we are going to go ahead and jump into eBay. And we are going to take a look at raw sales of this card. Okay, keep in mind, there's this foily version that looks exactly like the first edition. There is also a reverse holo as well. We'll take a look at both. The reverse holo sells for a little bit less, but it's just as important to the market. In addition, we will also look at PSA 9 and PSA 10. Those are kind of like the gold standard of investability. When you can get a card graded and it comes back a 9 or 10, especially a card like this, you know, they're worth a lot of money now. It's hard to believe, because a year ago, it simply was not the case, because these things in theory were overprinted. So let's go ahead and take a look at raw sales first. Pokemon Evolutions Charizard. And we're going to go all the way down the left side here to sold items. And we're going to look at the ones that ended recently. As you can see, there's 4,303 total listings. So we'll look at, like, say, the top 10 or 20 listings. We're not going to click into them, because there's also going to be a mix of reverse foils or reverse holos, in addition to the full art, alternate art types as well. So this one right here is the card that I just showed you. This, by the way, I pulled this out of one single pack out of one of those pin sets about a year and a half ago. I thought it was pretty cool. Threw it into a top loader. It looks to be in great shape, great centering. So this is definitely a candidate for grading. So as you can see, that card that I said that you could pick up about 8 months ago for about 25 to 40 bucks is now selling for $150 to $200. Now we got the first listing here. That's sold as a near mint copy. This one came out in 2016. So yeah, my apologies. It's still the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon brand from '96. So if we scroll down and we see a few graded ones, we're going to skip those for right now. Here's another one right here. That's sold for $100.01. This is on November 3rd. We're going to go ahead and just click into this one. I have a feeling that this one is like maybe a light play. I mean, they say it's a PSA 10. I don't know. No, not even close. Yeah, it's definitely been played. You can just see the corners, and the top is all chewed up right there. Yeah, this one is just an overall beater. Still sold for $100. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So you know, I guess we'll just assume that some of them that sold for anything under $100 are light play or medium play. Some folks don't really know the grading process too well. So here's one that sold for $79.05. No feedback whatsoever. We got a zero feedback scenario here, which will definitely play a huge role in the actual final sale. So the problem here is that there is no back, but you could tell it's been played. The corners are all chipped up. The top margin edge is all worn and smudged. So this one right here is not a gradable piece, and you have a seller that has zero feedback. It's still sold for 75 bucks. So this one right here, the Charizard EX, is another one. that came out in this set right here. This is the reverse hollow. This one sold for a best offer. This one is probably light play as well. I want to double check first. And you can always tell, you know, when you flip the card over so that way you see the back. This one has low feedback also. This one actually does not look too shabby. There, you know, it's got a couple white areas on the edge and the corners. But overall, not too bad. This one would probably end up being a PSA 9 if that's the only issues that we see there for the reverse hollow. So here's another one here that sold for, geez, that's shipping though, $38.54. This one's in the UK. It sold for over 280 bucks as a raw copy. Unlike the other ones, this person actually has some feedback, and this one looks pretty good. It's got the normal white crop marks on the corners, which is fine. There's a little bit of whitening on a few areas of the edge, but again, this is another, I would say maybe PSA 9, BGS 9.5 candidate right here, where if you had to choose, I would certainly try and get it graded by BGS as a 9.5. It'll be worth a lot more money in that particular slab. And then we'll take a look at a couple more. Here's another one right here, sold for $155 shipped. That one I would imagine is pretty close to near mint. Here's another one right here, new condition, sold for a best offer. So it's probably pretty close to $200 ship for that one. And then you just see right on down the line. Here's a really nice mint example that sold for $246. This one is in the UK. It's got a couple little white areas on the corners, not the corners, but the edges. The corners look okay and very acceptable, but this one is probably a PSA 9. Can't really tell the centering because this particular image, actually its centering, it might be okay on this one, but you definitely have some whitening on the edges, and it's still sold for, this is US value by the way, $214 and then $35 for shipping. All right, so those are the raw sold prices, and then let's go ahead and add in PSA 9. Incredible, just how far these things have gone. And what I didn't do for the actual raw cards is go back 90 days, but we're going to go back 90 days for the PSA graded examples. I feel like this is much more relevant to you and I for the investable, you know, side of things. So we got PSA 9, the most recent example sold today at 3 o'clock for $525. And then we'll just go on down the line. Here's another one for $410, $385. This one is in a CGC holder, which they do comic books. So that's a little bit interesting. So it says PSA 9, but I don't know what this CGC holder is. It's different. You got a few raw ones that's sold in here. You know, 170, 200, 187. So like I mentioned, 150 to 200 for near mint copies. Here's a 9.5 that's sold for $511, as I would expect. So it's just slightly more than PSA 9s. All right, so here's another one here that's sold for a bin of $450. You also have some of the EXs in there too, which in a way are popular as well. And people are looking for that. Those are PSA 9 EXs, by the way. So pretty crazy. Let's see if we can find a few more of, here's another one. PSA 9 sold for $620, shipping for $16.90. That is a huge sale. All right, and here's another one for $510 with $5 shipping. All right, so let's go all the way back, as far back as we can, because I see the prices are all over the place. I see them at $550, $600. Prices are just ridiculous right now on this card. So this was October 24th. We're going to go ahead and maximize all the way to the end. October 10th. let's see here. Well, this is only 30 days. But anyways, just in the last 30 days, you could see that this card, wow, look at that, $209. And this was right before the whole Logan Paul promotion, where he was opening up, I guess, the first edition box, and he also put a bid in for a PSA 10 shadowless Charizard. I believe it was a shadowless. You guys let me know. So, wow. Yeah, you saw the huge price spikes right after that whole event. That was actually, what, a couple weeks ago? So you guys can see that even before pre-Logan Paul, the cards were selling for under $200. So that's pretty incredible. Let's go ahead and take a look at PSA 10s. So these are the most recent. And these are all PSA 9s. They look like the same ones that we just looked at. You can tell once you get to a PSA 10. I mean, that the price just skyrockets. Pretty amazing. All right, ended recently. So this is a Charizard EX that sold November 3rd. It's a PSA 10 for $430. That one's pretty much maxed out. A few raw ones. There's that 9.5. Apparently, it's a tough card. Here's a PSA 10 that sold November 2. This is a reverse foil for $1,325. Jeez Louise. That's nothing. Just wait until we get a regular foil. Does it say right here? Pokemon Evolutions XY Charizard GMA. Okay, so that's a third-party grader that I don't personally trust. They generally overgrade by a point to a half a point. So I don't take any stock from GMA slabs. We got to get to the real deal PSA. Here's another reverse foil. So that's still in that $1,200 to $1,300 price range. And then there's some Japanese versions of the card in here as well. Here's another Japanese. As you can tell, they don't come up very, very, very frequently. Again, a very tough card with low pops. So if you guys were at all interested, here's another reverse holo for $1,500. That's a pretty good sale. Kind of an underrated card compared to the regular foil, the standard foily Charizard. There's another reverse holo. Apparently the reverse holos are a lot more easier to find than these ones right here. Here's another Japanese. Those always sell for a little bit less. Here's another reverse holo for $1,531. Wow, nothing within the last like 5-6 days for a PSA 10 regular like this. I don't think I passed any. I guess the only other logical thing that I can do is sort this with the highest price all the way up. Oh, we got another. There's a card I have right there. It's a PSA 7 that sold for $323. Jeez. Yeah. So people are selling PSA 7s for still a couple $200 or $300. That's no playing around there. We got a couple more reverse holos. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is the most recent sales of this card in a PSA 10, and it just so happens that PWCC auctions, very fitting because they sell a lot of high-profile cards. So they sold 3 of them back to back. One sold for $6,800. another one for 6,100, and then a third example for 6,400, all within the same day and within a few minutes of each other. There you go, man. So six to $6,500. Let's go ahead and take a look back 30 days pre Logan Paul to see where those cards were selling at for a PSA 10. If we could find one. Because like I said, the pops are not nearly as high as you would think. Here's a 9.5 that sold for a best offer. Here's one right here. I don't know what it's sold for though. It's a low pop hollow bleed. Gem mint. Man, I need to get that one graded. It's got no whitening on the edges on the back. Yeah, look at that thing. So it sold for a best offer. We don't know how much it is, but they were asking 10,000 for it initially. The card is just phenomenal. It's perfect in every single way. Looks good. Looks pretty good. Wow. Okay, so not quite indicative of why I thought it would be 30 days back. Let's see if we can find another one. Thank you guys for bearing with me. This is some pretty hot news, all because of the Logan Paul thing again. Just to reiterate, it's it really boomed. It's really boomed here in the last few weeks, and I figure you guys need to know if you guys have this card in pristine shape where you feel comfortable actually sending it out for grading. This is a huge money-making opportunity because these cards are extremely hot. They're a throwback to the original OG Charizard first edition. So there you go. Yeah, it sold for a little bit less. I would venture to guess this one sold for between $3,000 to $4,000. This one is on October 17th. This is right around the time that Logan Paul had done his thing. And I haven't seen any other listings on here. Again, very tough card, low pops. There you go. This is not the staff type. $3,699. So it's jumped up by roughly 65% in value in the last 2 weeks for a PSA 10 Evolutions Charizard, regular foil type. But there you go, guys. What do I think about the long-term investability of the card? If we continue, because seeing as how we have seen the first chips to fall as far as a major kind of like personality to come out and actually say that they, mess with Pokemon cards. I'm almost for sure, certainly going to see other people follow suit that are just as prominent, if not more prominent, celebrity-wise, or sports figures, or music artists. I mean, you're going to see a lot of these cards being swept out of the marketplace, and I firmly believe that this is just the beginning of this whole run-up. We're probably going to see these cards continue a meteoric rise. I would venture to guess that throughout the holidays, we're going to continue to see the values of the Evolutions XY Charizard to continue to climb in price. Raw copies, I would not be surprised if they hit $300 here in the next 30 days. And that remains to be seen. We're going to see how many other people come out of the woodwork, opening, cracking boxes, and all this other stuff. And as much Evolution XY cards are out there in circulation today, there's only so much. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of people that are going to scoop these out of the marketplace. They're going to take it out of the marketplace, especially the high grading example. Since this set is almost 5 years old, there are a lot of played copies as opposed to genuine gem mint out of the pack type cards. And again, you really need to confront an even bigger issue. The cards did not come out of the pack fully centered every time. Like this card that I have here is awfully close. I mean, the centering is really close to being perfectly centered, but left to right, it's slightly off. I wouldn't be able to show you exactly what the card would look like. The top to bottom centering is actually really, really good. The left to right centering is a little bit off. So, anyways, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. If you guys have the opportunity to pick up more gem mints for under 200 bucks, I would say it's probably a worthwhile endeavor to do so. If and only if you have the money, because the first editions are way too expensive. They're many thousands of dollars, even in plate condition. So we're going to see just robust activity for this card because there's nothing else like it. There's no other remake of the first edition Charizard, much like this one. So this one is going to be a huge target for a lot of investors and for some of those celebrity collectors. So anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Collectibles. Thank you for joining in on this video. Happy hunting, and I'll see you on the next video.